Hi again. So in this video, I want to talk about the quality and the quantity of pain. We'll start with the quality. So we use the term pain to describe a whole lot of different symptoms, a whole lot of different feelings. We use it so commonly that so many different sensations are lumped into the category of pain. And then we can specify within pain, but it's really not that accurate. So, for example, we can have pain that's anywhere from soreness to achiness to sharp pain to dull pain. Sometimes even when we work really hard in the gym, we describe that fatigue, that muscular fatigue as pain, when really maybe it's more accurately described as just severe discomfort, right? It's not actual pain that you would maybe go to the hospital for. So it's important that we understand how to define our pain. So when I'm talking about the discomfort that you feel or the symptoms that you typically feel, I want you to think of the symptoms that you typically feel when you're at your worst, when you're feeling the lower back pain the worst. For many people, it's after sitting for a long period of time. And then when they try to get up, the back feels stiff, it feels sore, it feels achy. So try to figure out what that feels like to you. Maybe it's in the morning after you wake up from lying down in bed all night and you feel more pain and you have to limber up a little bit. Or for many people, it's also after standing for a long time, or maybe leaning forward to do some dishes or fold some clothes or change a diaper. So identify when you feel the most discomfort, when you feel your symptoms the most, and what it feels like. Also, when we're talking about the discomfort that you feel, when it is related to exercise, we're not just talking about your relationship to the movement in that moment. I also want to start to develop a relationship with how you feel during that moment and afterwards. How does your back feel after trying a glute bridge for the first time? And how does it feel after trying a cobra for the first time? Does the irritation that you feel during the exercise last until the rest of the day? Does it last through the night into the morning? Or does it dissipate? What kind of effect does that exercise have on the rest of your day? And we want to be as specific as possible about this. So when you do feel some sort of symptom irritated during an exercise, I want you to think, okay, I've identified that this irritates specifically the symptoms of discomfort in my lower back, and I want to track how it feels throughout the rest of the day. Next, I want to use an analogy to try to quantify your pain. So this is what we call the traffic light analogy. We'll be using a typical scale of 0 to 10 to rank your pain or your discomfort, your symptoms, all kind of the same thing here. So 0 being absolutely no discomfort, no symptoms. 10 being the worst you've ever felt. You'd have to call an ambulance to come and take you to the hospital because you're in so much discomfort. So from 0 to 3 is a green light. That means that it's moderately uncomfortable. You can certainly work through it, though. It's nowhere you haven't been before. And you know that this kind of discomfort doesn't lead to more symptoms later on. Then we have 4 to 6. 4 to 6 is a yellow light. That means it's a little more than you'd like to be in, a little more discomfort than you'd like to be in. You're even bordering on, when you get up to a 6, bordering on some actual pain. But again, you felt this before, you felt like you've been able to recover from it, and you don't feel too terrible pushing through it. And then we get to the 7 to 10, which is the red light. Now, it's very important to understand here, red light doesn't mean that some damage is being done. This brings us back to the not every hurt equals harm. When we get to a red light, it simply gets to the point where it's not productive for us to keep pushing, right? So even if you have a high pain tolerance and you get to a point where you think, this is actually pretty painful and I think it may result in some discomfort later, it may result in me having trouble sleeping tonight, that's a point where we stop working. Not because we're fearful of worsening the injury, but because we don't think it's a productive way for us to keep pushing. So with that traffic light analogy, we'll typically try to stay within the green and yellow lights, obviously. But don't be afraid if you edge up onto that red light pain every once in a while. It doesn't mean things are getting worse.